Okay, we're back. Hello, sorry. It's really interesting that I can't start or end a video. It's embarrassing for some reason, even though I'm just talking to a phone. There's nobody here, there's nobody there. There's nobody living in this house, just me. Interesting. Anyway, hi, how's it going? I did my hair different today. Look, oh my gosh, great, amazing. Anyway, so I was thinking today of talking about giving a little history lesson. I don't know. I did my video on how I got cast on the TV show that I was on. That was cute. And I don't know. I feel like I'm opening the floodgates. Whoosh. Don't worry about it. To just, I don't know, doing more of this stuff. I don't know if anyone likes it. I don't know if anyone's interested in it, but I think that, I don't know. I think I'm having fun. This isn't not fun, anyway. But I wanted to talk about, because, see, I keep stopping and starting. I'm so sorry. I wanted to kind of talk more about the show that I was on and all that, but I can't, right? Because even though it's out, it's not out. But it is, but it isn't. So I think I'll have to wait. And that's okay. But I was thinking of what else, kind of adjacent can I talk about? About things I've done or whatever. And I was like, ooh, okay, well, maybe I can talk about my stuff that I've done in the world of acting / modeling so far, and kind of have this be a little manifestorial video thing where I'll say what I've done and try to show some stuff for it and kind of hope I can come back with a update kind of thing. Hey, I've done this, I've done that, whatever. By the way, if you would like to see stuff that I've done or anything that I show in real time as it's happening, when it happens, you can definitely go to my Instagram, which should be linked somewhere, because that's probably where I'm going to post about it, honestly. So there's that. Okay, let's get started. I'll say my real start wasn't until I want to say 2018 or 2019. Before that, what I had done initially, I never really thought I would be able to do this, anything in that realm, just because of how I look, right? I'm going to give you a reference. I've looked at different sizes from when I was 18 to now, but this general size is kind of in the middle of, yeah, okay. One moment. So, this is how I look. Thank you. Very nice, I think. Whatever. So you may or may not know or assume doing stuff like this, and by stuff like this, I mean acting, modeling, whatever, is not very easy to come by. So how have I done it before? And I don't know if this would help anybody, but what you could do, it's gonna be pretty obvious. But let's get back in my seat. Hold on. Anyway, I'm back. So I have always had trouble, right? It's not really something easy that has come naturally. Not in the sense of the job itself or the skill itself. I would like to say that it had come naturally, maybe. I don't know. I've not really had lessons per se. I did go to a thing, but it was, I'll get into that. But I was in university, and I was doing graphic design in university, and one of my colleagues wanted to do, or is, a photographer. I don't know if she still does that. We haven't spoken in a bit, but hi girl, how are you? She was doing photography. She wanted to do something for her assignment, so she asked me if I would model for her, right? It was an assignment in class. I can't really remember what the assignment was exactly, but what I do remember is that I got a chance to have some fun, do some modeling, whatever, with her. It was in these garden, it was near our university, it was really close by. And I remember being wait a minute, this is really fun. I could be, I kind of want to, like, this is, like, you know, when you, like, I found my calling, you know, it was very that, right? But obviously it was, like, amateur, and it was free, obviously, and it was whatever. So I was like, okay, how do I do this more permanently? So I finished uni, and I got my first, like, real job, right? And that was my work at the amusement park. And then I got my second job, was working for that government agency, whatever the hell, right? So that was happening, and I had no opportunities. I was doing stuff with a friend at the time, and like for their assignments and stuff. So it was, you know, I had some experience in terms of being in front of the camera, but not much that was like tangible or good or, you know, portfolioable. So I was looking online, and this is like my beware story, right? I was looking online for an agent, right? Because that's what people do. They get an agent, they get booked, whatever, right? So I remember finding some model management, whatever place, and I signed up. I sent him, you know, all my measurements at the time and whatever, and I sent it through, right? It's gone. I remember receiving an email back or something like that, asking to meet with me, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, what the hell? And I set up a time and a date, and this was before people did stuff, at least at the time. People weren't really doing stuff on Zoom or like stuff like that. At least I wasn't seeing it. You see it all the time now, right? Anyway, so I remember setting up a time and a date, and I just kind of let it go. And then I remember being called on the train while I was going home, I want to say. And it was from this place, and they're like, hey, just calling just to double check about the appointment you made. You do realize that the appointment is in Sydney, and I don't live in Sydney. So I kind of said to them like, oh, you know, I'm not sure if I can make it, and is there anything we can do to change the date or maybe the place? I'm not sure. They said, oh, well, our headquarters are in Sydney, and it would be really good if you came. It's actually like you're actually investing in yourself, and, you know, we see big things for you and all this, right? I should have known at that time that they had never seen a single photo of me yet. And they see big things? Like what do you mean? You see big things? You don't even know me. But I was younger and dumber, obviously, because I was like, yes, of course, no worries. So I booked myself a flight to go to Sydney for one day. I showed up in the morning, I did my thing, I went home on the plane in the evening. I remember missing my flight because I had booked the flight was at, I think I booked it for 6 a.m. or something, but I accidentally slept in, so I missed that flight, and I got the flight changed to like 9 or 10 in the morning or something like that, and I was able to make it all the way to the airport, get on the whatever. I made it in time. I show up to this place, and I have a conversation with the person who, I guess this is like their headquarters. Mind you, it was like in a, I guess, multi-working space, I think. They had one office, which had like this kind of crystal-ish table, which had like gold accents, a gold pencil. The MacBook had a gold case. Everything was gold, right? And I remember finding it very weird why because I had set up a website, like a very quick one, because it came with Adobe at the time. I'm not sure if they still do this, but you can make like a portfolio website, right? So I just made a version of it just with pictures that I had gotten at the time, because I had ones for my friends, and I had a couple of I kind of went on Instagram and whatever and looked for people who wanted to do photo shoots for like Time for Print, TFP. And I had a couple of those, so I had something to show, right? And I remember finding it very weird when she opened the website. She wouldn't let me look at the computer with her so I can point and stuff and say, oh, this was this and this was that, right? So I remember her being like, oh, you have such a unique look and we can get you some work, blah, blah, blah. However, you need to take a course with us first. Big red flag. Don't do no courses up front. What the hell is wrong with me? Why did I agree to it? I don't know. But I was desperate. So I was like, what's this course? So it meant that I would have to come back to Sydney in a 2 or 3 week period after I had like signed with them or whatever, and take this course, and then they can like put me on their books or whatever. So I stupidly agreed. I paid like $400. This is like pre-major, like, I mean, inflation already exists, but like this is, I feel like nowadays it would be like 600, 700. Oh gosh, I can't even, I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, I paid that amount. I left the state. I came back home. And then maybe, 2-3 weeks later, I went back to Sydney for 1 day. And in this 1 day, I met up with a bunch of other people who all got scammed like I did. And a like model had come in, and she was like teaching us how to runway walk and what like to do and what not to do. Things that shouldn't cost $400, mind you. The girl was nice. I ended up kind of slightly befriending her when she came to my state. We did kind of hang out a little bit, but because I'm like, oh, she's kind of like roped into this, it felt like. And she made it seem like it was the case as well. So I don't know, I felt bad for her, whatever. But so I did that, and I came home, and after I'd come home, I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that, or like, I don't think this was it. So I was like, oh gosh, what the hell? What do I do now? Anyway, so that happened. And then there was another lull. And in this lull of a year, I want to say, I was applying and applying and applying and applying and applying for literally any and everything that even slightly fit any description that I could be like, yep, that kind of sounds like me. And I think at the time, I had counted like 500 different applications or like, expressions of interest that I had put through and sent pictures to and what have you. And I had not got a single one. And I'm like, oh, this sucks, but I'm just going to keep trying. It's going to be fine. All the while, I was working my normal jobs and, trying to, as they say, make ends meet, whatever the hell that means, right? And I think the first time I actually got chosen for something was while I was still working my government job. There was a girl there who was talking about this like influencer that she was really into, and that influencer had posted or shared or something that this Australian workwear company is doing like a photo shoot, and they're looking for models. They're doing online street casting, and all you had to do is like answer a couple questions, whatever, right? So I was like, hello, this is me. So I sent them a message on Instagram, and I promptly forgot about it. And then I want to say 2 or 3 days later, I get a message back saying, hey, thanks for sending your message. We want to meet up for like a fitting. Can you come and whatever? We haven't actually chosen anyone yet, but we still need to know what the clothes look like on you, right? So I'm like, what the hell? So I went, mind you, not paid. I went, I tried the clothes on at the fitting. We had a very nice time. Everyone was like laughing and it was really nice, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what it's like, right? So then I leave, go home, whatever. And then maybe a day or two later, I get told that I was picked. I'm like, hello, yes, my first gig, even though it's not paid, yay, it's gonna be somewhere. So I remember being like super excited and all that. I went, it was like to just like one of the beach places here, right? And that had all these like rocks, like everything was like reddish, orange. I don't know where the place was, but it was at the beach. And, you know, we had a trailer and my clothes were there and people were like, could I get you something to drink? I'm like, I can get it myself. They're like, nope, you're the talent. I'm like, oh, I'm the talent. I remember having multiple outfits and the photographer, and I was the only guy. There was like 5 other girls, or they thems. I'm not sure if they all identify that way, so I'll call them they thems. But I was the only guy there, and I was looking at the little call sheet thing, and there was like another page of all like the potential men, and I saw like 3 or 4 or 5 other ones, and I was like, hey, pick me, yay. I remember doing the photo shoot. It was really cool. It was like a bit like how do I put it? It was like, oh, very like, oh, we're doing high fashion, right? Oh, we're doing this, oh, we're doing that, right? And it was the whole day. I think I left the house at 5 in the morning to make it to a station to be picked up at like 6 or something. And then by the time I got home, it was midnight. And I was there the entire day. And we did the photo shoot. We did some video as well. That was so cool. I almost got injured 3 times. Yeah. And at the end of it, I was like, I don't know, I'm new, right? So I was helping them clean because that's just me, right? And they were like, oh, we need to do some like audio takes because they wanted to do all this stuff, like, oh, we'll post a video and we're whatever, right? So they asked me to get in some rando's car, one of the people's theirs car, so there's like a bit more insulation, I guess, to record some audio. And I did all of that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I'm like, this was the point that I was like, I need to find a way to get this thing to work full time. Spoiler alert, haven't figured it out just yet, but I'm trying. Let's continue. So I did all of that, go home, and a couple months go by, only to find out that they didn't actually end up going with that concept. So even though I had my photo, and also another photo right here, thank you, which also ended up in Vogue magazine. Look at it. Thank you. Even though all that happened, the purpose of the shoot wasn't actually used. Don't know where the videos went. Don't know where the audio clips went. All I have is the couple of photos, right? So even though it was great, it was also like, you know what I mean? Because the whole thing about putting eggs in baskets, putting a lot of them in there. Anyway, so that happened. But while I was waiting, another opportunity kind of happened, but it also just failed. So there is a, I guess, photo shoot company called The Photo Studio, I think. Whatever. They have different establishments in different states. And there's one for my state, and I think there's like 2 others, whatever. And they were doing a competition. We're picking a new male model, and this male model is going to be doing stuff, and if you put in X amount of words, and we'll pick someone, and they'll get this package costing X amount of dollars for free. So me, of course, I signed up. Of course, I put in something, and I didn't win, right? However, I did get a message from them, and the message was kind of like, or is it a phone call? Whatever. They were telling me that they liked what I wrote, and they wanted to help me out because they thought my message was very good, you know. So basically, my message still is, even though there is, in my opinion, even though there is a lot of movement forward in the diversity and inclusivity in the world of fashion and modeling for women or female presenting people, I don't believe there is the same on the other side, the male presenting or just, you know, the guys, right? So I would like to, you know, help make that more out there. I don't know. Right? I don't know how to articulate it, but, you know, I'm just making it be more mainstream, I guess. You might say, yes, it already is mainstream. I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. And even if it is, not enough. Because if it was mainstream and it was okay or whatever, then it would be easier to find work, right, in this field, but it really isn't. So I don't know how that is, you know what I mean? Anyway, so they liked my message and they said, even though I didn't win, they still want to like offer me the package, right? And I'm like, you're joking. And they're like, no, we're not joking. But you're joking. No, we're not. Yes, you are. No, you're not. Okay, great, fine. What do I do? They said, pick a date, pick a time, pick a concept, go on this website and put in some like inspiration photos of like things you want to do. And then just show up and we'll do our best. I'm like, okay, no worries. So I picked a date, I picked the time. They made me pay $80, I remember. Because they're like, oh, you know, it's like a $500 package or something like $600, whatever. You're only paying $80 for the booking or something like that. I'm like, at the time, I'm like, oh, okay, no worries. Absolutely, queen. However, anyway, so I did all of that. I put in my inspiration photos and I brought whatever little clothes that I had at the time to use, right? I remember showing up. I remember immediately being told I didn't bring enough clothes and the stuff that I brought wasn't like the stuff that's in my inspo. I'm sorry. I didn't know. No one told me. So I remember being kind of touched up really quickly and my hair kind of touched up very quickly. And then we immediately got to shooting. We did like quick befores and afters, and we did like 2 or 3 or 4 different kind of backdrops and whatever. It was all very standard. At the time, they make you feel like a celebrity, like, oh my gosh, ooh, this hyping you, whatever. It's kind of like a hyper image of what a real job is like. Have I been to sets where I've kind of been hyped up and all that? Absolutely. But it's not everyone. Like, yes, they're gonna be nice to you on set, but like, they were doing too much. Anyway, I did the photos, and I was told that I needed to wait like a week or 2 for them to contact me when the photos are ready, and then I would come back in and do like a session where I choose the photos that I want. And in this session, I would pick the photos and then they would like give them to me or whatever, right? There was a caveat though. When I initially took the call and they were like, oh, we're gonna do this and you're gonna do that, we want you to come in and whatever. I was like, hey, my only hang up is if you're giving this thing to me, I'm not really interested in purchasing anything because it's too expensive and I'm not interested in purchasing anything. You're calling me, you want me to come down, but you want me to pay as well? Like, I could just do that normally. I don't want to do that. That's why I put in my thing for the competition, because I want to win it, because I can't afford it. And I remember being told that, hey, like, we can work something out, or something like that. Something along those lines. Anyway, I show up to the picking ceremony. They put you in a room, some popcorn, some bubbly, or whatever the hell they had out there. And it's like with the head honcho, with the guy who runs the place, right? And he's telling you about social media and how do you post and da 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 da. And I remember asking him about his social media, and his answer was like, oh, I don't really post. I'm like, then how do you know? Practice what you preach. Anyway, I got shown the photos. And it was like a yes/no session, like photo, yes, I like it, no, I don't. We move them in different buckets, right? And we go. We go through all the photos. All the photos I've gone through. We've looked at every single one of them. I'll be right back, he says. He comes back. And he tells me, okay, yeah, so these are the photos you wanted. So let's see what kind of package we can get for you today. And he was going over the packages, and they're hundreds of dollars. And I said, hey, just a quick thing. Before I even got here, before I even came in the first session, I got a contact from so-and-so and they told me this, that, and the other. And they were saying that I don't have to pay because you wanted me to come in. And they're like, yeah, I'm not sure that's really correct. I'm like, well, that's all right then. I'm not really interested in purchasing anything today. I don't really have the money for it. Oh, well, we can do a payment plan. No. I can't do a payment plan. I just am not interested in purchasing anything right this second or on a payment plan. I may be interested in grabbing the photos like at a later time. Oh, we have our photos in our database for X amount of time and then we delete them. I'm like, that's so okay. Thank you so much. And I was like, why does this happen to me? So I got something out of it, I can say, you know, the experience of going to like a real studio shoot as opposed to like a kind of outside campaign type of thing. But I was just like, never again, you people, no thank you. They've contacted me, I think they contacted me again a couple years later, and it was the same pitch. And I'm like, girl, no. So that happened. And I think there was like a lull where it was nothing. Right? And at this time, right, again, I was applying almost every day. I was able to find something to apply to. I feel like the older I get, the less I'm able to find things to apply to, because, you know, roles are kind of, you get older, but the roles stay young, if that makes sense. Like, there is stuff that's older, you know, you age into, but it's still like, it's still really difficult, in my opinion. Anyway, and plus, when you kind of have an agent, but you kind of don't have an agent, but you still kind of don't look traditional, it's really difficult for me, at least, personally, in my experience. Thank you. Other people are kind of, I've seen at least one person who looks like me, who does this stuff, and they seem to be getting consistent work, and honestly, good for them. I did try to reach out to them at one point to get some pointers, or some help, or just some contacts, someone I can speak to, and they didn't want to give me anything, because they said that even though I'm trying to you know, advocate for diversity in the field, etc., they weren't interested in that. That was crazy. Anyway, so went for ages, and I couldn't get a job, or couldn't get gigs, whatever. And then, as you know from my previous video, I got cast on that show, right? So that happened. I went on, I did my thing, I came back home. Now I need to get work again. The cycle continues, baby. So I started looking again, the year I came back, 2022. Started looking again, and looking, and boom, I got my first paid gig. Paid gig, thank you very much. Paid. And it was for another Australian, I mean, I live in Australia, obviously. It was an Australian company that does like skincare and hair care and just personal care for men. And the company's called Stuff. Just stuff for men. Because get it? I'm a guy, and this is just stuff. Anyway, I applied to be in a commercial for them. Oh, it was a campaign, so there was no video, but it was just photos. And it was me and two other people. Yes, me and two other people, two other guys. And it was like my first time getting a gig that was paid. And I was like, this is wild. This is it. This is it. So I show up, and, you know, I'm nice as usual. And they say, take off your shirt. And I'm like, excuse me, what did you say? Can you say that one more time? Take off your shirt. I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that, but okay, no worries. So I had to get into a state of flow where I didn't really care. So I'm like, okay, here you go. And, you know, I held up the product, and I did the wow, oh, amazing. It was really fun. And I did, you know, I had let my hair down at the time, because that's how I was showed up ready, whatever. And they did like a couple of those, like, whoosh, you know, whip your hair holding the product up type of shots. And they loved those, and I got to try out different things. It was really, really fun, basically. And I got paid for it. And here. And then the photos were like released. And they weren't just released like online, which they were online. They were also like out in the wild. Evidence. So that was really crazy. And in my mind, I was like, I made it. This is it. Yes. It's done. I'm quitting my normal jobs. Hell, that did not happen, because even though I had like, my face was plastered all over my state, basically, I still wasn't able to get another gig for months afterwards. My second gig was with them again, and I did a different kind of campaign. This one was more online, but here you go. And then I think that was also paid, obviously. And then I think there was another lull where I didn't have anything. However, kept applying, thinking that if it's happened twice, it can happen at least twice more. So I kept going, and I think the next time I got anything just in the vicinity of entertainment, right, was this German mobile game. It's called The Healing. I remember seeing an ad. It's like a German game that came out in Germany. I'm pretty sure it's German. And it's a game where it's like a horror style thriller kind of. It's kind of like a visual novel almost, but it's set in a way where like when you open up the game, it just looks like WhatsApp, and you talk with characters, or you see them talk with with each other, and there's videos and photos and whatever, and which means I had to record voice lines, which was cool, and I had to record video of myself, which was also cool, and take a couple photos, which was awesome. And I would kind of just get every couple of weeks, over maybe a month or two, I would get like an email, here's your lines, here's what we want, please send them ASAP. And the cool part was, every time I was requested for a new edition, I would get paid every single time, which was amazing. It was by a company called Reality Games. I'll put them up here. And they were very nice to me, and good for them. I like them. So that happened, and then again, a big lull. Then I get my next thing, and I think this was in the next year, 2023. I applied for a role in an actual commercial, like a video commercial that was going to be filmed on video, and I had lines, and I had to read lines and memorize stuff. It was not that many lines, mind you, but it was the only speaking role in the whole ad, and the speaking roles pay more than the non-speaking roles. So I went for the speaking role, and I had to like do a little audition where I had to like read out the lines and act them out and whatever, and send it in and hope for the best. And I got the role. Yay! Another paid gig. Hell yes. This is like my third or fourth thing at the point. And we started in 2017, mind you. So I remember going in for that one. I played a guy it was a commercial for a card game. I will put a little clip, I guess, of it right here. Would you rather defuse a ticking time bomb? So, as you saw, that was kind of what I had to do. So obviously I was reading the lines. I was the only one speaking, obviously. And every person had their own little scenario. So obviously I had my little scenario, and I don't know if it showed, but if it didn't, I was like a clown in another person's scenario just in the background. So I got to do a lot. And that particular video is still everywhere. I would see it on YouTube. If you look up the game on Amazon, you'll see the pictures, which I'm in, and the video of the actual commercial. It was on I think it was on normal TV. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it's like every time, anywhere you look it up on Target, whatever, you see the photos, and then you see the video, and I'm like, that's me. So that was cool. Next was, I think later in I think that was the last thing in 2023. Last year, I got an opportunity pretty early in the year to be an extra in the movie, thank you, Ricky Stenicki, the Zac Efron and all the other people. John Cena is in it, I think. I didn't get to see him. So, no, I did see him. Zac is who I didn't see. It's a cameo, I'm sure, but the type that you don't necessarily see. I woke up at 3 a.m. to make sure I get to set on time, and I met the director, and I saw John Cena. He's short in person, and is what I can say for that. And there was a bunch of other people there doing extra work as well, but only 5 to 10 of us were actually picked to go to that scene. Everyone else didn't do anything, but we got paid, so that's good. And I was person waiting in line to pick up a book from one of the other characters whose name I cannot remember at this point in time. I'm so sorry. I would insert a clip or a picture, but if you watch the entire movie, it's not included. It's like an after credit scene or during credit scene. And they decide to start the shot after I have existed in the world. So you don't really see me. but I was there and I got paid for it. So I'll take that. So that happened. And then again, another lull for a couple of months, or a lot of months, where I was applying and applying and applying. And then I got my next thing, which is again is another paid gig. So it was for a company called Strike Bowling. If you're in Australia, you might know this company, but it's exactly what it sounds like. You play bowling there. They kind of modernized, and they don't just do bowling now. They do karaoke, and they do escape rooms, and they do whatever. They've done escape rooms and stuff for a while, but like I think they refreshed their brand imagery. Anyway, it was another one where there was multiple people. So it was me and two other people, and every person was given a role. One of them is the bowler, one of them is the karaoke person, one of them is the escape roomist. And originally, I was going to be the escape room person, or the bowling person, I can't remember, but they decided to change that and give me the karaoke person. So I had given them my sizes and all that, and I showed up to the set, and they had this like massive rack of clothes, all for me, mind you, and shoes and socks and you know, someone doing my hair for the entire, like it took so long to do my hair, and it hurt a lot, but no pain, no gain. And I got to pick the music, and I had to like actually like physically have a karaoke party by myself with like 7 to 10 people just watching me, which is scary to think about. But when I get into flow, no one's around but myself, I feel. So I did that, and it was so fun. I remember, I still could, like, it was probably the funnest thing I've done so far, other than the reality show, obviously. And the other people were there too, and everyone was very nice, and I was nice to everyone. I'm never like a diva. Imagine me being a diva. Oh, me? No. No, I would never. That's actually horrible. But they ended up liking my photos the best, and my face was yet again all over my state. Nay, all over the damn country. And I kept seeing it on buses, and on bus stops, and on trains, and on trams, and just out and about, or on my Spotify, or on YouTube, or in China. And I was thinking to myself, I made it. There it is. I made it. I was wrong. I was wrong. I still can't get it stable. Nah. Anyway, then we went another bunch of months where nothing had happened, but I was still applying. Then I got my next big thing, which was there is a drink company. They make smoothies, they make milkshakes, they make whatever, called Boost. It's very Australian, but it's also like very healthy. That's their whole thing. It's like everything. There's no nasties, let's say, in their drinks, and it's very like nice, right? And it's a well-known Australian brand, at least here in Australia. I got the opportunity to do a a campaign for them. And I was like, get out of town. I get to the set, I have to come early. They do my hair, they do my bra. There's outfits. I get 4 different looks. And it was like a 3 or 4 day photo shoot. However, I was only there for one of the 3 days. The other people were there for all of the days, and I was the only one who looks like me. I'm like, do they just want diversity? Okay, interesting. I'm just saying they could have had me there for the whole thing. Anyway, I show up, I do my thing. It was really fun. I get to pose with all these cups of Boost, and interesting. I get the backstage tea on how they do these things, or like the cup is empty, but you can tell it's empty if someone's holding an empty cup, just like you would on TV. So they have this like silicone puck, basically, that they just drop in the cup to give it the heft, and it works. I don't know. And I took all these photos, and at one point, like the cameraman was like on a ladder, like above me, trying to take. He was taking like top down. It was really cool. However, only 2 photos were chosen so far. I don't know if the rest are going to come out, and I really hope they do, because some of them are really cool. But what that means is I'm currently right now on their app. If you go into one of their menus, here you go. Thank you. And currently they have a poster or like a PSA visual, whatever, in every single store in the country, which I'm on. So here you go, look at it, thank you. So again, I was like, I made it. Here we go. Yes, please. I will take my other job now. Thank you. Nope. It's like we get to these highs and then we're back at square one, and we get to these highs and we go back to square one. Since then, I haven't really been able to do anything, and not for lack of trying, mind you. I've applied and applied and applied and applied, and I just can't seem to like get anyone's attention again, which sucks. Because I'm like, I've done all of these things. Surely I've proven myself. Surely. So in my next thing, I guess, was I did another, I guess, TV show, I guess, a little bit. Deal or No Deal. I'm sure you've heard of the game show. Someone gives up big boxes. Oh, there's stuff inside. Oh, how much money did I win? Oh, my God. I was chosen to go to one of the tapings. I unfortunately did not get picked to win money. However, I was able to hold one of the cases and have like 3 minutes of the episode be all about me. So that was fun. That one episode actually came out pretty recently, so I was finally able to see it. So that was really cool. But since then, nothing. So recently as well, I've tried to just try to like, I don't know, expand, or like maybe I just need a good agent or a better agent. Who knows? So somebody out of the blue sends me a message. Hey, this place looks really nice. You should try to apply for there. It looks like you'd be a shoo-in. So I'm like, all right. So I send in my application, and I hear back within the day. Oh, we would love to see you, whatever. I show up to their headquarters, which is another place where it's like a multi-working space. This time, there is no office. It's just open plan. Most of the place is a kitchen. And it's just like 4 computer pods in the back corner. And that's their headquarters. I'm like, interesting. Okay. So I wait my turn. I speak with the person. They're very nice. They're very, very, very nice. They're actually the reason I'm making these videos. So, thank you. But I spoke with them, and they were being as normal as they usually are in these types of interviews. I've been to many of these, and it's always the same. So I'm always like, I already know what my red flags are, and they always seem to come up. But anyway, we talked, and we talked about all these big things, and we have these briefs, and we can see you in this brief and this brief, and we need someone who's like you. You're different, you're unique, you're all this, you're whatever. Lovely. Let's talk business though. How does this work? So there is no sign-up fee. Okay, let's pin that. There's no sign-up fee. There's also, however, there is which turns into 2 A's, but there is a once-off amount that you have to pay of this much for like Polaroid photos that I need to renew every 3 months. But it's one time, but it's this much. I'm like, that's crazy. I can buy a Polaroid film and take the photos for way less than what you're telling me I have to pay. But also, I have to pay another amount, which is like another once-off. I have to pay it again to set me up on all of these like websites that they put people on, which, mind you, the current people that I'm with currently have all that for me, and I didn't pay a cent. So make it make sense, right? And I was like, oh, I'll think about it, whatever. They said if we like, depending on how the rest of the team feels, if we want to sign you on, we'll send you an email with all the instructions. Absolutely. I get home the next day, I get an email. We loved you so much. Oh my gosh, amazing. Here's the contract, 5 pages, mind you. 5 pages with typos. 5 pages with typos and an email saying, oh, we would love to have you on, sign you up, blah, 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 blah. By the way, please don't forget to give us the money. I'm like, okay. Money 1, money 2, right? And then underneath it, in like light gray, italicized, font size like 5, it also says that there is a fee of like $70 or something like that I would have to pay. And every time my contract renewed, I would have to pay that $70 fee. Now, if we unpin the thing that I asked you to pin 3 minutes ago, not even, and we let it out, they told me they don't have any fees. But this email says that they have fees. So I checked the contract, the 5-page contract with the typos, don't forget. It says it on there as well. So I'm like, let me email them back. Hey guys, thank you so much for the opportunity, blah, 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 blah. I have a couple questions. One, you said that there is no fees, but your email and your contract says there's fees. Can you explain? And then I said, also, since you hyped me up so much, I didn't write it in like this, I was a bit more professional, but I was basically saying, if you hype me up so much like that, can you just make it so that whatever my first gig that you get me is, that you just take out however much you want me to pay out of that, and then we're all kind of even? They replied the next day, and they said, that fee is a fee. And no, we can't do the other thing. And I'm like, excuse me, what? You admitted to lying, and then you said you can't do the other thing, even though you just told me that, oh, you have so many things you can get me for right now. I'm like, girl, no thank you. So we're back at square one. We were here, and now we're back here, probably lower than here, you know what I mean? But I keep trying, I keep attempting. So I don't think I'll ever stop, because ultimately I would like to, be on a magazine cover or do an editorial photo shoot. That would a dream come true if I could do that. Imagine me in a hair commercial. Get out. Imagine like I've done some acting, I guess, if you can count the voice acting and the being on the TV and then the doing the you know what I mean? I would love to do that, but I guess I'm just not there yet, unfortunately, even though I've been trying for, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 8 years, and I'm still, like, it's like I'm at the door, when they say, oh, a door opens, you get your foot in the door, that sentiment. I feel like I'm at the door, and they periodically go, hey, what's up? Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Oh, you sure? Yeah, one moment. And they just shut the door again, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep trying, I'm gonna keep doing my thing, and I hope that maybe if anyone is watching and somehow has made it this far and is, not hating on me. If they're like, oh, I wanna do this stuff, but it looks so hard, or, I don't know if I'll be able to do it, or I don't know if it's for me, or, I'm too anything, that I feel like, and as cliche as this sounds, I feel like this is correct. Because in my opinion, if I can do it, I don't think anyone can do it. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, the reality is that not only does it take time, not only does it take effort, not only does it take resilience, consistency, I guess, it also takes some hope. You gotta sit there and be like, oh gosh, here's another rejection, god damn it. But hopefully the next one, you have to do that. Even though sometimes you're just like, okay, well, this is, I flopped so hard, flop Tina McGee, no thank you. But, I'm gonna keep trying. And then when I finally get to the time where I'm able to not have to do my day job and just be able to just make or do whatever, then I'll be like, I'll do my update video. I'll be like, I made it. Anyway, so it's a pretty long video, and I feel like there's stuff I forgot to mention or whatever, but I don't know. Hopefully someone enjoys it. But if you did enjoy it, let me know. And thanks for watching. Bye.